Good morning and welcome back to Margin. This morning we're going to talk about how much you should save for retirement. So let's jump right into it. So going through this theme on savings, you probably are thinking, what am I saving for? And that is important for you to answer. Is it for a sense of security? Is it for some level of peace of mind? Or is it to be able to retire at a certain date and be able to enjoy your retirement years? But figuring out why you are saving in the first place will really help you answer the question as to how much to save so that you can figure out, okay, well, how much should I be saving now so I can live the life that I want to live? So I broke this down into 4 steps in order to save for retirement. And I broke it down this way so that it is simplistic and it is easy to follow so that you don't get overwhelmed and jump off the wagon because of having too much complexity to the process. So with that, step 1 really comes down to making sure you have that emergency fund. Now, I keep beating this drum because it's so important for you to have a rainy day fund in place. And why I mention this in a retirement topic really comes down to making sure that you're not putting money away into retirement until you have that in place. So the first step of that was to get $500 in a savings account. The step 2 of that was having $1,000 in a savings account. Step 3 really comes down to having $3,500 in a savings account. And step 4 comes down to having 2 to 6 months of living expenses in a savings account. So with that, I outline that first because I want you to get through the process of saving for a rainy day fund because you will have emergencies that come up. You will have a flat tire and need a set of tires. You will have a fridge that goes out. You will have those types of things occur. And what I don't want to happen is for you to pummel your retirement savings because you didn't first put this step in, as a priority. So as I mentioned before, it's typically recommended that you save around 10 to 15% of your income for savings. And so with that, you'll want to start with step 1, with maximizing step 1 from those funds that you have coming in that can be attributed to your savings account. So that 10 to 15% for now should go to saving for a rainy day fund. So step 2 of saving for retirement really comes down to investing in your employer sponsored plan. So you may have a 401k, you may have a 403b that has a match. And with that, those matches can be 3 to 5%, sometimes more, sometimes less. But if you were looking at an income of about $65,000 based on a 3% match, you have an additional $2,000 that's going into retirement that you didn't have to pay for. It's free money. And so you may have a minimum amount that you have to contribute in order to get the match, but the step really comes down to finding out what that is so that 10 to 15% can be now attributed to that employer plan and above and beyond already having that emergency fund in place. So step 3 of saving for retirement really comes down to opening a Roth IRA. Now, if you are married and you have a spouse, they can also open a Roth IRA as well, as long as they have that income. And with that, you will want to maximize that Roth IRA. Now, that Roth is post-tax, so it will be paid out after you receive your paycheck every other week, twice a month or once a month or whenever you receive your check, that will be paid out into that account. Now with that, there is a limit as of 2021 of $6,000 per participant. And so with that, you also could opt in if you are 50 years or above to add an extra $1,000 to that, but that's only available for those who have a catch-up opportunity in order to contribute more to their Roth IRA. Now, one thing to keep in mind with the Roth IRA is that there are income limitations. And so with that, if you are one of those who have hit from an individual standpoint or from being married and hitting that income limit, between you and your spouse, you will want to inquire about using a backdoor option, fully legal and everything, of course, but using a backdoor option that still allows you to maximize your Roth IRA, even though your income is above that threshold. So step 4 of saving for retirement really comes down to opening a individual retirement account. So it's an IRA, and that will allow you to direct those funds to those things that you really want to invest in. So that could be a myriad of different products, but it gives you a little bit more control. Now, if you're not comfortable with that or you don't have experience in that, you can circle back and put more money into your company's sponsored plan. Now, with that, one thing I would ask your employer about is whether they have a Roth function of their 401k or their 403b. I worked for a company that actually did allow us to opt in for this, and so I put my funds into a 403b that was a Roth. It was basically a Roth 401k, but it was a Roth 403b, and that allows you to put additional funds post-tax, assuming that your tax rate and your income in the future will rise. So that was a personal decision, but something to consider beyond that is the fact that 2021 limits are $19,500 that you can put into a sponsored plan. Now, with that, you also have the opportunity to have a catch-up of $6,500 if you are above the age of 50. So if you are above that age, you may want to consider maxing that out if your income permits and your expenses permit you doing so. So I want to make sure not to leave those out who are self-employed. So with that, there is a self-employed individual or solo 401k, it's all the same, that you can take advantage of. Now, it has the same parameters when it comes to contributing $19,500 per year or an additional $6,500 per year if you're over the age of 50. But in addition to that, it actually has a great component that allows you to contribute up to 25% of your income or a total of $58,000 towards your 401k. Now, there's also a catch-up component to that. So if you are above the age of 50, you can contribute up to $64,500 to that. Now, with that is compiled. That's the total amount that you can actually put in. But with that gives you a huge advantage if you have the income set up as being self-employed. To be able to redirect those funds to a retirement account. So those 4 steps I reviewed don't cover the why though. You need to go back to figuring out, okay, what is your vision for your life? What should retirement look like based on how you're wired, based on how you want to spend your time and when you want to retire and how you want to live, what you want your lifestyle to look like. And so you want to look at those components because many people start to contribute to retirement and they fall off the wagon because they inflate their lifestyle. They have lifestyle creep that takes over, preventing them from actually effectively investing into retirement. And so with that, you'll want to keep that at in focus. Like, how do you want to live your life now and how do you want to live it in the future? And depending on how you want to live it in the future, you may have to make certain sacrifices today. And so with that, you may also want to look at, okay, if I have been contributing to these 4 components and I have maxed out these 4 components and I want to live a life and have a lifestyle that gives me more comfort per se, then you may want to look at opening a business, buying a franchise, looking at different options and opportunities to invest above and beyond those limits that are in place, so that you can build up that retirement savings in something like a rental house or a business of some kind. So keep in mind that you need to make sure that when you are reviewing these steps, when you are reviewing your vision and figuring out how you want to live life, that you're not forgetting about what you truly enjoy. It's so easy to get caught up in getting systematic with this, strategic with this, and missing out on how you want to live life from a standpoint of influence and how you want to pour into the next generation, how you want to spend time with your family or where you want to spend your time. And it's important to look at, making sure to make room for that hobby that you want to take on, that thing that brings you joy. And so with that, make sure that as you're going through these steps and as you're looking at this, that you are making sure that you're not working so hard to build the living in for the future without also building in the life today and actually enjoying your life today within reason, of course. So with that, my call to action today is really to look at where there may be holes in your retirement plan, looking at these 4 steps, looking at how you can make sure that you do have the right systems in place to build and have that compound effect set in place, so that when you come to retirement, you have the funds you need, so that you can actually enjoy that season of life. If this information is helpful to you, explore the Margin membership, where me and my team will help you take the information you're learning and apply it to your life and your finances. I've built an interactive course that allows me and my team to come alongside people like you to help you revamp your finances and build margin into your life. Click the link in the description below for more information.